Welcome to the Successful Thinking Podcast, where I will share with you the elements for a successful thinking process, and we will talk to people who have a successful thinking mindset. Hello, how are you guys? Today, I'll be talking about the art of arguing and the practicality of things. So what is arguing? What does it mean? The most common definition about arguing is that it means to speak angrily to someone, telling that person that you disagree with them. And this is true, but for the successful thinking process, I want to look at arguing more in a philosophical perspective, in a more philosophical term. Arguing means the expression of your thoughts. We are communicating what goes in our mind. That's arguing. So how can we develop our arguing skills? How can we improve the way in which we express our thoughts? Good communicators, such as Martin Luther King, for example, are able to share their thoughts in such an impeccable way because they control the art of arguing. For that, it's really important, first of all, to have a clear definition of the goal. As I shared on my second episode, success means the accomplishment of a goal. Therefore, in order to achieve a successful arguing, we need to define which goal do we want to reach with sharing our thoughts. Do I just want to share an information? And so the goal is that someone gets to know this information? Do I want to communicate like something serious? So do I expect, or do we expect, a reaction or an action from the other side? How will the communication be perceived? Will the others or the other person understand what I want to say in the right way? As a manager, we can ask the team to perform a certain task. But if I don't communicate it, or if we don't communicate it properly, maybe the team will do it in a completely different way than one we had in mind. Unfortunately, then most of the times, this is perceived as bad performance by the team. Well, in fact, the problem was about the person who communicated the goal. In this case, the manager. It's really important to have a clear vision and to share it properly with the team. So in order to guarantee a successful arguing, meaning a successful communication of the thoughts, it is really important to be aware of the reality that we are in. Am I talking to a person? Am I sharing something in public? Am I making an announcement? Am I complaining about something, etc.? So education is key because it's one of the most impactful tools that shape our arguing skills. Education not only allows us to develop our thinking process, as I shared on previous episodes, but also it creates different realities for us to express our thoughts. During class, we can just share our thoughts with the professor, the teacher. If we agree, if we don't agree, our point of view, make some more questions. In exams, we are sharing what goes in our mind according to the questions. In group works, in presentations, etc. And so, that's why you see people with high education in very important positions that require important arguing skills. For example, lawyers. Lawyers need to understand how to have a good arguing skills. And here, again, arguing is not complaining or saying that the other is wrong. Arguing in the sense of sharing the thoughts. We also have people in the government. Of course, here then governments has a whole different conversation. But yeah, people that are supposed to be the person with the responsibility towards the country, they need to understand the power of arguing, the art of arguing. Even doctors. A doctor needs to understand how to communicate such information to a patient. But arguing by itself, is not enough. It needs to be reflected in practicality. For example, how would you react if a smoker tells you, don't smoke, it's not good for your health? First question would be, why do you smoke? This is the classic of do as I say and not as I do. This is not a good example because whoever is telling us something, then we see them doing the opposite. When we are kids, when our parents tell us do not do something, and if we then see them do, it's obviously that we will do it. So it's really important that the practicality comes along, that if the parents, that if the professor or whoever tells something, that they also then behave according to that. The best example of practicality is Thomas Edison. He had all the theory, but imagine what if he never tried? What if he never went to practice? Because it was only after several trials, and I believe hundreds, if not more, not mistaken, that he reached the goal. He invented the light bulb. Same as when we have ideas. If we don't do things, if we don't start doing them, they will only be ideas and never become a reality. And practicality comes within a certain type of education that I shared last episode, non-formal education. It is one of the most efficient methods of education, learn by doing, because only that way we are positioned in the shoes of those who really have to face the challenges. If I say to you, build a closet from IKEA, and then you don't know it, and I don't know it, I can say, yeah, but you have to do it. It's completely different if I already know how to do it, and if I ask someone, and then I can explain. It's this way, this way. Learn by doing. So many times in the company, if you don't know, search. Learn by doing is the most efficient way. That's how we learn when we are kids. Learn how to cook. I can read a lot about cooking, but if I never cook, I will never know if I'm a good cooker or not. I can learn a lot about a certain sport, about the rules, about who is the best, how do they play, the techniques, but if I never play that sport, I will never know if I'm good or not. So what I want to say with this is, go do. Make things happen. Make your ideas become a reality. I know a lot of friends who have great ideas, amazing ideas. They want to create their own company. They want to change the world. But if nothing happens, it will never pass from being an idea. And believe me, I became so much happier because I decided to make the things come true. This podcast was an idea I got a long time ago. You have no idea how much joy I'm having just because I'm really publishing it. It means I'm passing all the thoughts that I had in mind to something that I can share with people. And I know, because sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's not easy to do things, to make things happen. Also, we can become lazy. I don't want to do it today. But there are tricks here. And for example, one trick is about, if it's a very big objective, a very, very big goal, we can divide into smaller objectives and go one by one. But that will be the conversation for my next episode, when I will talk about planning, overthinking, and not thinking. So I hope you enjoyed the content of today's episode, and I'll see you guys on the next one.